Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, we're not going to be showing some Wild Rift, we're going to be showing some team fight tactics and the new set 5.5 Dawn of Heroes. Now, big thanks to you guys. Obviously, without your support, I wouldn't be able to, play test this early, get some gameplay for you guys as well. But I got a whole list of stuff here to kind of talk about throughout this whole video, and I got to see some gameplay to show off in the background as well, which was a really fun 3-cost game. But I'm not going to spoil what 3-cost unit we got in the end. But first things first about Dawn of Heroes is that there are no shadow items anymore. All the shadow items are gone. It's basically about this whole war with the Pengus, and the light Pengu has won, like the good Pengu has won. So now we have no more shadow items, which is really awesome. The shadow items have been replaced by radiant items, but we'll talk about that a bit further down the line. At the start of the game, as you can see now, the starting game is a little bit more normalized now, as there's no more full gold cost starts. So the little orbs will now always drop 3 gold, which is really, really nice. The 4-2 armory that you'll see is always 100% now as well. So no more 75% or anything like that. So sometimes you might get it, sometimes you might not. But you do get the nice juicy armory at 4-2, which is always 100% guaranteed, which is really, really nice. Sometimes it felt really, really bad if you kind of missed out on it, or if you're kind of waiting for the 4-2 armory. It's like, oh, there's no 4-2 armory. You kind of miss out on the last one, which is kind of unfortunate. They are reworking some of the items as well. They kind of understood about the whole cloak start with in terms of how bad a cloak start can be at times. So they've changed up Dragon's Claw, sorry. Dragon's Claw now fires a little fireball, which is really, really nice. Makes it a little bit better, I would say, and it makes it quite fun to use now. I don't believe I captured any gameplay of the Dragon's Claw, but you probably saw it maybe on another video or anything like that, but it's quite a cool item now. You also have Trap Claw has now been replaced by Banshee's Claw, so they kind of used the shadow item from Trap Claw and made it into the actual item, which I find it really, really nice. So Banshee's Claw now is basically the unit that you put it on plus 1 hex either side now gets the shields, which is pretty damn awesome. So yeah, moving on to the radiant items, which I just spoke about. So there's no more 3-2 armory anymore. The 3-2 armory has now been replaced by a 3-6 armory, and it's now called Radiant Armory. Now, radiant items are always good. There's no downside to radiant items at all. The only items you can get are all good. So you won't get any downside like you do with shadow items. And some of these items are insane, like absolutely insane. You have like Locket, which allows you to shield units across the whole row for the whole entire fight. And it's ridiculous how much shielding you actually get. You got Hand of Justice, which allows you to have both the healing and the damage at the same time. There's a whole bunch of stuff, which is really, really awesome. You only get 1 radiant item per game, and the only way you can get the radiant item is from the 3-6 armory. So it's really important to make sure that you pick up the right item and pick up the one that you need, because there's no going back, there's no second chances, there's no, the only way you can get maybe a different radiant item is if you get a reforger. I got a reforger once, and I reforged a radiant item, and it turned into another radiant item. So that's one way you could do it, but obviously reforgers are quite rare, obviously with the magnetic remover. I also have a new thing called Radium Blessing, which we'll see in the gameplay as well today. As soon as you drop below 40 HP, you receive a Radium Blessing. Every player gets one every game, and everyone gets the same thing. So these could be items, these can be spatulas, these can be gold, components, anything like that, basically. So sometimes it could be very, very little, sometimes it could be quite a lot. But you can kind of see what you're going to get. If you see that someone below you is dropping below 40 HP, you can have a look at their board real quick, and you can see, oh, I know what items they're going to be getting. So then you can kind of work around what items you're going to get when you're below 40 HP and kind of work around that, and maybe you'll figure out that, oh, I'm going to get a cloak, so I might need to save this cloak to get the Dragon's Claw, etc, etc. So quite a cool new mechanic, allows you to obviously scout around the board a bit more. Obviously when people, like I said, drop below 40 HP, you can kind of scout around and see what Radiant Blessing you're going to get when you drop below 40 HP, which can obviously save you as well. There's also a new thing called Tome of Traits. Now, every single trait in this game now, except for the 5-cost traits, can allow you to get an emblem or some sort of spatula item. So, obviously, with no Shadow Spatula now, there's no more, you know, Shadow Forgotten Spat or anything like that anymore. So, they replaced it with this emblem. So, the emblems you can get from the Tome of Traits. Now, the Tome of Traits, as far as I'm aware, is really, really rare. I only got it, I played about probably 10, 15 games. I only got it like once or twice. So, it's quite a low percentage. It activates, so what happens is that if you get it, you can get it from either the Radium Blessing or a gold orb, and it activates an Emblem Armory. So how it works is, it summons a tome on your bench. So if your bench is full and you're trying to pick it up, you won't be able to pick it up, so you need to sell something on your bench first before picking it up. But once you sell the tome, you'll be activated, or you'll be given the Emblem Armory. Now, the Emblem Armory could be anything. It could be anything to do with Gunslinger. It could be to do with Brawlers. It could be Ranger. Any trait in the game can be possible now. So you could do some crazy and wacky builds now, which I think is really, really fun and adds a whole new mechanic to the whole game, which is quite fun. But yeah, the emblems can also be found in the carousel now as well. So the carousel is kind of awesome now, to be fair. You got some cool items in there. You got obviously the emblems in there as well. I think every single time when we were playtesting and I was talking to people, every single time that we had the blessing, it was really, really cool. Or not the blessing, sorry. Every time we had the carousel later on in the game, it was really, really cool. Because people were like, oh my god, there's a Brawler spat. Oh my god, there's a Sentinel spat. You know, there were so many different spatula items in the game. It was quite fun to obviously to experience, I should say, firsthand, which is really awesome. Now let's talk about units. Now obviously there's a bunch of new champions, as you can see on the board at the moment. We got the Misfortune, we got Olaf, we got a bunch of new champions to talk about. But let's first talk about the units that they have gotten rid of. So they've replaced some of the forgotten units, as you might have just seen from the gameplay. No more Warwick, no more Victor, and no more Katarina. These obviously been replaced by other forgotten units now. You have Misfortune, which is obviously one of the other forgotten units, which is really, really nice. As well as some other forgotten units as well. But forgotten trait has changed completely now, obviously with no more shadow items, which we'll talk about in a second. There's no more Dragon Slayer, so Trundle's gone, Pantheon is gone, and Mordekaiser is gone. So 3 champions there that are completely gone. No more Coven either, so Lissandra, LeBlanc, and Morgana are also going. And then you have a couple of other units as well that go in. So Kindred is being replaced now, and is now being replaced by Akshan, which is a new champion that is going to be coming out. Rise is now gone as well as another forgotten unit. Rise has been replaced by Fiddlesticks. You got Tarek as well as another knight has also been gone, is replaced by Galio, who's a new knight that has come into the fray. And obviously Darius is gone as well. So now they've done this whole thing where Garen has won the fight, so Darius is now gone. God King is now no longer a trait, and it's now turned into Victorious, which I'll talk about in a second. So they're all the new champions that are completely gone. Now let's talk about the new traits. So one of the new traits which I'm using in this gameplay here is Cannoneer, which Cannoneers every 5th shot. Cannoneers deal a percentage of that attack damage in an explosion around the target as physical damage. So a bit, I guess you could say, like, if you take Tristana, for example, if you know, like, PC League of Legends or something, if you see, like, her explosion from her 3rd ability, from her E, that's kind of the way that the explosion works in terms of Gunslinger. You'll see here, maybe in the gameplay now, hopefully one of my units attack 5 times, Misfortune's 3, 4, and then 5, you can see it's just like a cannon. So as you can see, the Senna shot a cannon as well. So this works really, really well with some of the units. Obviously, Misfortune's a Cannoneer, Senna's a Cannoneer. You also got Lucian as well, which is a Cannoneer, and Tristana, which is pretty awesome. That's a new trait. The next new trait is Sentinel. Sentinel is at the start of combat. The Sentinel with the highest health gains a shield that grants attack speed each time it is applied. When the shield is destroyed or expires, it will pass to an ally with the lowest percentage health. And the shield health and attack speed gets bigger with more Sentinels. So this trait is kind of interesting. It works really well in terms of the early game. Getting that shield early on is quite nice. But in terms of, like, I would say the mid and the late game, you didn't really find a lot of benefits in terms of the shield. The shield didn't really feel that big. Obviously in the early game, the attack speed is really nice and the shield is really nice. as it got into, I tried so many times to go for like a 6 Sentinel build and tried to go with like Akshan, which is a Sentinel as well and is a Ranger. But unfortunately, I couldn't get any good gameplay, I should say, out of like a 6 Sentinel build. The trait just didn't really feel that strong, to be honest. Like I said, it felt kind of strong in terms of the early game. You got some really, really strong early game units. You have Senna, which is quite strong. You have Olaf here, which is quite strong as well. But yeah, some really good early game Sentinel units. But in terms of mid and late game, I kind of felt like it kind of fell off a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate. But still a awesome trait overall. It still obviously changes things up a little bit as well, obviously with some new units. Obviously with the Sentinel skin line as well, which is coming in as well, which is quite awesome. Also, you got a couple of new 5-cost units which are coming in as well. You have Gwen. I got some cool gameplay with Gwen to show off to you guys. Probably won't be in this video, but it'll probably be in the next TFT video that I do. Gwen's ability dashes. She dashes behind her target and performs 2 rapid snips in a cone in front of her, dealing magic damage. So she's more of like, I would say, a tank / AP damage bruiser, I would say, because she also has a passive which is inanimate, which is at the start of combat, inanimate champions summon hallowed mist in the hex, 1 hex, surrounding her for a few seconds, granting allies with damage reduction from enemies. So basically how it works is that underneath Gwen you have kind of like I guess you can say a circle. It's kind of like her W in PC League. I believe it's her W, where she kind of puts like an area around her that allows her to dodge attacks and everything. It doesn't actually dodge any attacks in TFT, thank God. That'd be kind of annoying. But basically allows her to take damage reduction, and also it allows allies 1 hex to the left and to the right of her to allow her to take damage reduction as well. I'm not too sure if it happens in the front and to the back of her as well. I didn't actually test that. I believe it's definitely either side of her, but it might also be in front and behind her as well. I wasn't actually too sure. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, so you can use this in any way. You can use this as your front line, maybe. You can use it in the front line to kind of take damage reduction to frontline units, or you can even use it at the back line as well. Say you're against assassins, you can use this at the back line, and then all your carries take damage reduction as well for a few seconds at the start of combat. So you could use this in many different ways. Quite a cool unit, to be fair. Like I said, I got some really cool Gwen gameplay to show off to you guys as well. So hopefully we'll get some gameplay for that for you. Obviously we got Garen as well, which I just mentioned. Garen is now victorious, so now victorious champions, when you score a kill, the next attack is empowered to deal 40% of the target's missing health as a bonus damage. So still as strong as what Garen was before. Garen was pretty strong, obviously with Karma and like Dawnbringers. Obviously Karma is still a thing as well. Karma's not removed. Dawnbringer's still a thing. Redeemed is still a thing as well. So I think them 2 comps will still be quite strong, even with all these new champions and everything coming into the fray as well. Obviously you got Akshan as the other 5-cost unit, the new 5-cost unit that comes in. Akshan's ability is very, very interesting. I'm not really too sure what to really think about it, to be honest. It's kind of strange. He basically like rolls to the nearest edge of the battlefield and he basically grapple hooks. So he's able to like grapple hook and basically swing outside of the map. Now as he's swinging, he keeps on shooting, but he basically goes to like the furthest enemy away from him. It seems really, really strange. I'll have to show you guys obviously gameplay and everything, but it's really, really strange how it works. He basically swings to the furthest enemy away. He keeps on auto attacking, and then he can swing multiple times during a fight. So maybe something like a Spear of Sojin or something like that would be pretty cool. I'm not too sure if I got gameplay. I'll have to check for that one. I tried to go for like an Akshan carry game multiple times, but I wasn't able to get it because honestly, it is a 5-cost unit, so sometimes it can be really, really hard to get. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, there's that as well. Obviously, they're the main things, and that's everything that you need to know about the new set. I will leave you with the rest of this gameplay so you can sit back, relax, and enjoy all the new fun stuff that have been added to the new set. But yeah, thank you guys as always for all your support. I wouldn't be able to play this without you guys. And yeah, we'll have some more TFT gameplay to show off to you guys in the near future. But as always, stay safe, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care. Peace.
fight, the hardened live.
Now we prove our courage.